he was pretty polished. Here she comes.
Richard Marles, you were wondering on Thursday on Politics Now whether he'd be at this. I bet you he's glad he's there. That's 2 in a row for him. He was at Aston as well, wasn't he?
I think he was. He was indeed, yep.
So
he's a good luck charm.
He's pretty stoked.
The member for Corio across the bays, on the other side of, well, he's in Geelong, not Melbourne. He's in Geelong on the Bellarine Peninsula, and that was once a marginal seat, wasn't it? Corio? It's not anymore.
No. Corio's never been.
Corangamite's the one that's...
Corangamite.
They were worried. They were worried, Labor. They were telling me the last couple of weeks it was tightening and they were worried. But she got there. They got there.
She got there indeed. And the embrace for the win in the by-election comes within a year, or about a year out from the next federal election. The Labor Party celebrating their primary vote has held up tonight, Stephen Conroy.
It has, and that is the most pleasing part. We've lost a bit of paint over the last 12 months, whether it was voice or interest rates, and to see our primary hold, I think, was the most pleasing part of the night, other than the actual win and the speech we're about to hear.
Indeed. They're going nuts, aren't they?
Feels a bit like that Aston famous one by-election of 2001 where John Howard got about a 4% swing but hung on after the death of a member. There's no doubt the fact, as we said earlier, that Peta Murphy passed away assisted the government holding the seat. It's as sad as it is, that's an easier way to go to a by-election than the alternative.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the government at that time, if you go back to Howard, remained very focused on what they needed to do, as we said, on the fuel excise and so on.
Exactly right. So had that sort of wind-assisted by-election with the death of an incumbent, not a terrible, resignation or any other circumstance, just a tragic personal event, but still didn't sit there and think he was over the line. He worked that by-election hard and took some big decisions, not necessarily popular with the cabinet at the time. I was working for a cabinet minister that wasn't that happy with fuel indexation, but they did those sorts of changes because he felt it was the right thing to do. Yep. It had to be seen to, this is a bit about perception we were talking about before, had to be seen to be listening. The one thing to say, I am listening to you, but do they feel you're listening to them?
The worst thing Labor can do out of this is get hubris again, like they did after Aston. They have to understand that they have to change if they want to hang on to majority government, Stevens.
Yeah, I just saw a message from Jim Chalmers on social media. He says, not complacent about the great Labor win in Dunkley, but really looking forward to serving with Jodie Belyea. Not complacent, these first two words.
He must be listening to you, Andrew.
You might be taking Andrew's advice. Let's have a listen now to... Get that camera sorted? Okay.
Oh, it's a rapturous reception, that's for sure.
Camera's going to steady out.
Mark Riley bloke, what's he doing?
Okay. Let's ride that wave with the camera moving around and try and sort out the microphone and so on in that bowling club. See if we can have a listen in.
Can I say that everybody in this room tonight has a right to feel incredibly proud of all that you have achieved. On your voting. We love you, friends. And on behalf of the government and on behalf of the Australian Labor Party as it sits everywhere around the country, I want to thank every person today who handed out on a polling booth, who's street near to vote, who has helped during this campaign.
Todd?
We do not achieve results like this but for you, and we are deeply, deeply grateful. Every time there is an election, the Australian people speak. And there are many messages in the result tonight, and I want to assure every Australian that we will examine this closely and understand every message that is there. That the primary vote is where it is today is an enormous credit to Jodie Belyea. Peta Murphy was a deeply popular person across the country here in Dunkley, and to have seen the primary vote maintained in the way that Jodie has done it is just an extraordinary achievement. Which says tonight is a big night for our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who took every opportunity to be here at every moment that he could during this campaign. He was here last night, he was here today. Can I say that all of us who serve with Anthony feel an enormous sense of gratitude, and we are so proud to be members of his team. And tonight is a very big night for our Prime Minister. Labor's tax cuts were about us doing everything we could to work on behalf of working Australians for the household budget, knowing how difficult times are. And they are an example and at the heart of a much broader suite of policies that we have around easing the burden of the cost of living, knowing that people are doing it tough. I can assure you that with Labor's tax cuts and with all the other measures, from more affordable childcare to cheaper medicines, we go to bed every night, and we'll do so from here on in, thinking about how we can improve Australians' lives, how we can make the family budget better, how we can fight for working Australians. Peta Murphy was a giant. And it is so special for all of us that Rod is here tonight. We miss her deeply, and as every day goes by, we know how incredible her legacy has been. But wherever Peta is tonight, I know that the person with the biggest smile on her face right now is Peta Murphy. And so with Peta very much front of mind, it is my great honour and my enormous pleasure to introduce to you all the new member for Dunkley, Jodie Belyea.